Hello viewers, in our My Student Class video, we are going to see about the modern upgrade technology in computer. Now we are going to see about HDD and SSD. So what is HDD? It is a hard disk drive and SSD a solid state drive. Now we first talk about the HDD. So HDD is hard disk drive. As I say hard disk drive, so it is going to have some of weight and it is too large. So this hard disk drive is of two types. For laptop it differ and for desktop it differ. When we take for laptop, it is of 2.5 inches, and when we take it for desktop it is of 3.5 inches. So these are going to used for a store a memory. Okay, it is used as a storage memory. So when we talk about this hard disk drive, it's going to store the data inside it in a spinning disk form. So which is going to store the document in magnetical storage device. It is also known as magnetical storage device. It has a CD inside of a hard disk, and it's going to be read through magnetical view, and it's going to be store the documents inside of it. When we talk about its cost, it is too low cost. So when we talk about the hard disk for both lap and for desktop, the cost were low. And this is a good source of storing devices. It is a good source of storage device, and here we can store data whenever we need or whenever we are going to access a thing. That time we can be utilize it. Okay, it is a good storage device. And just we jump to SSD. So the architecture of SSD, when we talk about SSD, it is also a storage device. It's going to store the information in integrated circuit form. So like chip format, it is integrated chips. So in that format, it's going to be store the documents, or it's going to store some particular files. When we talk about the cost of SSD, it is too high, because when we take a game view, or when we take a higher file data transferring, or a higher document processing, we almost try to use quick processing thing, right? So in that case we can use SSD, but it is more high cost. And when we talk about its capacity, and when we talk about its size, it is too thin. For example, we can take a slim laptops. When we talk about slim laptops, in that majorly they are going to use SSD. And when we talk about SSD, we can connect one or more SSD chips in a single motherboard for a quick processing. Yeah. So next we come to speed. So when we talk about the speed, it is going to plays a role while installing or loading of files, or using multiple documents at a time. So first case we are going to see in a HDD, hard disk drive. So when we take up the speed, when we saw the speed of the HDD, it is too slower, going to have some delay in opening any application, or having some computing task. So in that case, the process was too slow. And its bandwidth, when we talk about its bandwidth, it's up to 500 MB per second to read or to write a file. If you want to read a document, or if you want to write a document, it's going to take a bandwidth of a maximum of 500 MB per second. Just we turn to SSD. So what's the speed of SSD? When we talk about SSD, it is more faster. At a time you can play any of the things. You can read one side, you can see movies, you can play games, so we can do multitasking in SSD. And when we talk about the bandwidth of this SSD, it's going to be 7000 per second. So 7000 MB per second for reading and writing. Both reading and writing is going to take what? 7000 MB per second. When we talk about the copying of data and data transferring, when we talk about that, HDD, it is too slower because its bandwidth is too low. So in that case, when we see that while we are copying a file, it's going to be processed too slow. And the data transfer is done with the help of SATAs. When we talk about SATA, it is lower and lagging one, right? So we can take a real-time example like a roadways. It is like SATA is just like a one-way road. You want to use the single way for moving front and moving back, right? So in that case, it is too slow while transferring data. When we come to SSD, so large capacity of data or large capacity of documents, files, folders, anything can be transferred faster and make much more faster than HDD. Transfer data. So the transferring of data in SSD is going to be done in a PCI port. It's going to transfer the data in channel way. So more data going to transfer through channels. So next we come to hot data and cool data. So what is a hot data and cool data? It's nothing but it is a thing of storing and usage of the particular thing, the particular devices. When we talk about HDD, it is a cool data because the files which have been stored inside our HDD, if it necessary, we are going to access the file because as I say, most probably we will use it to store a particular files, audio or video files. We are going to store a particular thing. When we talk about its bytes capacity, it is a terabyte and it is too low cost. In storage purpose of any photo files or any of video files, we can use cool data. It's nothing but HDD. When we talk about SSD, it is an hot data. So as SSD is a hot data, it's going to be used continuously, it's going to be used frequently because as I say, it is most probably used in gaming side and it's going to be used in video cuttings or video editing. In that cases, they are going to call faster movement. As I say, SSD is a faster movement thing. So in that case, they are going to use it frequently. So it is called as a hot data. So now we come to capacity of HDD and SSD. When we talk about the capacity, so HDD going to use anywhere from 250 GB to 20 terabytes. So this much capacity is going to have. And when we talk about the current supply for this both things, for SSD and HDD, so HDD going to require more power supply than SSD. It's going to access more current supply than SSD, and SSD is going to use a less power supply and long life of battery. So these are about the SSD and HDD. I think you are clear with the HDD and SSD. Till now we have completed with the HDD and SSD. So I think you have got some idea about what is HDD and what is SSD. Thank you viewers. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my student class YouTube channel. Thank you viewers.